What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another edition of the Jericho Report Weekly News Briefing. It is Saturday, June the 21st, 2014, Blackjack Weekend. I certainly hope not, but I'm going to give you all the links I've stored up over the past week. As always, first link below is going to take you over to the Blogspot post. That's where you can find all this madness. Let's start off with this. Reward offered in FBI search for Florida area doomsday prepper. Another crazy doomsday prepper on the loose, so the official story says. Something about him trying to make explosives out of shotgun shells. I'll put the first link to My Fox Tampa Bay. They got the original story. Got a second link on that. Doomsday Prepper Martin Winters surrenders. He is being held without bail. Well, at least we won't have to hear about him getting gunned down by a SWAT team. So I'll put a link to this, official story. I don't believe it. Who knows what's really going on. From The Guardian, we got gun control groups march across Brooklyn Bridge to demand action. Good luck with that. Meanwhile, we got Hillary Clinton says, we can't, now pay attention, we can't let gun control opponents hold an opinion that terrorizes America. The Second Amendment, I guess, is an opinion. They got, InfoWars has the video of her on that. Let's talk about gun control, Hillary Klingon. At least 27 shot in Chicago on Father's Day weekend. Last weekend in Chicago, some of the most stringent gun control policies in the country, if I'm not mistaken, right? 27 people. How could 27 people be shot in Chicago? Gun control works so well. Put a link to this from NBC Chicago. Got this from the Sun Sentinel. Going viral. Florida man shoots robber after 911 transfers him to voicemail. Well, it's a good thing he had a gun. Miss Klingon. Put a link to that story as well. Other news going on. We got 2 men arrested in Texas. Let's see. What does this say? 2 men arrested in Texas, charged with terror-related offenses. Federal agents said they planned to travel halfway around the world to engage in violent jihad. I don't know, from ABC News. Not sure what's up with that. Meanwhile, from The Blaze, another attack discovered at electricity substation near the border. Remember we had that one not too long ago? Another one, apparently, from The Blaze. Put a link to it. Not sure what's going on. Are they going to attack the electrical infrastructure? I don't know. Meanwhile, Vatican makes history. Pope allows Islamic prayers and Quran readings. Not to say anything about anybody's freedom of religion or any of that, but the times are changing, folks. From RT, George Clooney plans to become governor of California before fighting for presidency. Well, why not? They're all actors. Politicians are all actors anyway, so he should fit right in. Anthrax scare is latest safety lapse at CDC labs. USA Today has a video on that. I think maybe the CDC might want to review the movie Outbreak. From the Daily News, Casey Kasem, rest in peace, dies at 82, dies on Father's Day. That sucks. But, he had a big thing. His family was battling over him. So, if you grew up in the 80s or early 90s, you no doubt know Casey Kasem's voice. Rest in peace, man. Thanks for the memories. Over to financial news. How the Dow Jones Industrial Average fared on Friday. The Dow rose 25 points to close at 16,947, still hovering right around 17,000 mark. I think it might pass 17,000 next week. I make that prediction right now. I don't know. Meanwhile, cluster of central banks have secretly invested $29 trillion in the market. This from Zero Hedge. No, what are you talking about? That's a conspiracy theory. Turmoil in Iraq is pushing up U.S. gas prices. Be advised. More pain at the pump. Meanwhile, HuffPost Politics has this. Senators propose gas tax increase of 12 cents. 12 cents per gallon. Gas tax increase proposed. This come out on 6/18. Whatever. Meanwhile, ironically, Speedway sign malfunctions touts $6.66 for gas. Malfunction or predictive programming. Put a link to that. Eyewitness 5 has this. Target apologizes to customers after glitch causes checkout problems. Target, do you really want more press right now? Put a link to that. From Politico, Lois Lerner. Sources say Lois Lerner's emails likely gone forever. Oh, a dog ate my hard drive or some nonsense. I've seen all kinds of crap this past week about that. Meanwhile, check this out. This is a call out to the NSA. Congressman asked NSA to turn over Lois Lerner's metadata after IRS loses her emails. Good idea, NSA. You want to do something productive? Get with Congress. They want the metadata on Lois Lerner. I agree. House GOP investigators argue IRS targeting influenced by Obama. Well, it was. Put a link to that. Got one more in the Financial Men. London. Look at this. This is sick. London criticized for anti-homeless spikes. They're putting spikes where homeless people would normally lay down, maybe take a nap at night. Bad enough you're homeless. They're putting spikes in those locations. I'll put a link to the story. Over to New World Order and Police State News now. We got ICE shipping plane loads of illegal immigrants to Massachusetts. This come out June 16. They're putting these people on planes and shipping them to Massachusetts. Apparently they're going to check in with an immigration court Sooner or later, welcome to America. Meanwhile, this has been talked about last night on Monty's show, on F-Town's show the other night. Fedbiz.ops. A lot of people send me this link. Thank you to everybody who sends me links, by the way. Escort services for unaccompanied alien children. This was posted January 29, 2014. Escort services for unaccompanied alien children. Did they know this whole immigration thing was going to blow up this summer? Were they planning for this earlier in the year? Check this out, man. They were looking for people. I don't know. Interesting question. Now, meanwhile, NBC News has this. Got a follow-up. Domestic terrorism task force more than overdue, experts say. And, of course, they have a picture of the Vegas shooters there. You know, they're going to lump the Vegas shooters in with, constitutionalists and freedom lovers and all this. You know, of course, you know how they do. Mark Potok, seen him on CNN again. Whatever. Liberty Center has this. Let's talk about who the real terrorists are. No-knock SWAT raid leaves Texas father dead, family traumatized. This came out on June 15th. Meanwhile, this is absolutely sick. Baltimore police officer charged with slitting throat of dog that had already been contained. I'll put a link to it. It's just sick. Meanwhile, ironically, this is in another state. This is down in Florida. Police dash cam shows dogs attacking officer during traffic stop. Well, maybe dogs are getting sick of police officers killing their comrades. I don't know. Ironic, though, isn't it? From Fox 2 Now, this is from St. Louis. Lambert Airport opens TSA pre-check security screening center. Of course, give us your DNA and your fingerprints and all this, and you can pass through the line faster. People in this country are just stupid. Man says apartment complex called U.S. flag a threat to Muslim community. Threat to Muslim community. An American flag. This is America. If you don't like the flag, get the hell out of the country. How many times are we going to see bullcrap stories like this? Maybe it's because of all the fluoride. Fluoride toxicity no longer a conspiracy theory. Put a link to this. What's in your water? Do you even know? From Natural News, speaking of drugs, Xanax linked to mass shooting confirmed yet again. Xanax, but the mainstream media doesn't want to talk about pharmaceuticals. Because in between news segments, or in between the propaganda, you notice it's always like pharmaceutical advertisements. You need this pill for that and this. Who do you think's running this crap? Meanwhile, Nestle CEO says water is not a human right, should be privatized. Really, you ever see the movie Solar Babies? Go check that movie out. You want to talk about privatized water. Got one more in the police state, Ben. Veterans Today runs this. School closed, actors used. Robbie Parker, entertainer, exposed. Article here on Sandy Hook. Those of you who believe the official story might want to check that out. Over to World War III news. Obama sending 300 soldiers to Iraq. Says move is limited. They are going to be advisors. Boots on the ground. You mean that from the Washington Post? They're probably already on the ground. When did this come out? A couple days ago. Airstrikes, we don't know yet. I guess he hasn't made up his mind. Meanwhile, Obama says Iraq plan won't require congressional vote. Well, he has a pen and a phone. He doesn't need Congress. Meanwhile, Sunni extremists in Iraq occupied Hussein's chemical weapons factory. I thought there was no chemical weapons, or I thought we destroyed all the chemical weapons. How can these people now have chemical weapons? Talking about Hussein's old stockpile. Whatever. Chlorine gas-like chemicals likely used in Syrian conflict, says Watchdog. This is apparently new Syrian chemical attack. Are we going to use this? Are we going to use this story preemptively? We crossed the red line last time. It doesn't happen. Something going to happen this time? I don't know. This is all madness. I'll put a link to it. Meanwhile, Exxon carries out major evacuation of Iraq, says oil official. This came out on the 18th. Put a link to that. Watch the gas prices, folks. It's good. It's going to hurt. ISIL plan. Now here's an Operation Blackjack warning right here. ISIL plans to attack Britain, fears Cameron. Anybody remember Operation Blackjack? They did hit Britain. I'll put a link to this. Just heads up. ISIS militants with U.S. passports. 9/11. Anybody? Are they magic passports? Do they burn? This from BBC News. I don't know. Put a link to it. Iraq crisis. ISIS. Let me get this banner out of my way. Terrorists were trained by U.S. in 2012 for Syria conflict. We trained these guys. Not only did we recently let the top guy go, the new Osama bin Laden, we let him go, but we trained these guys. From International Business Times, I'll put a link to it. What do you think about that? Meanwhile, check this out. Thank you to the Show Me Baby and a number of other people who sent me this link. There is a website called ISIS, Intelligence Technology Training. Is this who's running this crap? I'm of the opinion that Al-Qaeda is really Al-Qaeda. ISIS, Intelligence Technology Training. I'll put a link to the website if you want to go over it. Very interesting, to say the least. Got a couple more. Gas transit pipeline explodes in Ukraine. Sorry, I'm getting tongue-tied. So much going on. Meanwhile, Ukraine says Russian tank incursion is unacceptable. This came out on the 12th of June. Ukraine and Russia going on in the background. Be advised. One more. The collapsing Obama doctrine. This is interesting to see from the Wall Street Journal. Rarely has a U.S. president been so wrong about so much at the expense of so many. I agree. Over to Earth changes in 2012 news now. USA Today has this: 1 dead after twin tornadoes blast Nebraska. No doubt this past week, if you didn't see these twin tornadoes in Nebraska, that was just wicked. They got video on that. Check that out. I got a second link. At least 7 reported tornadoes hit Nebraska and Kansas this past week. Local 5, another report on that. Earthquake front. I don't have any earthquakes bookmarked this week. However, I will give you a link to the USGS. Got the latest significant earthquakes and magnitude 2.5 plus earthquakes. Big ones on the left, small ones on the right. Some quakes going on, nothing too big though. Put a link to that. You want to go over that. Meanwhile, Space.com has this: solar minimax erupts as quiet sun finally hits its peak. This come out June 19. You know who I miss? Shout out to Astrotometry. If you're still around, man, I really miss your reports. You used to do great reports about how the sun would, sun weather would affect weather on Earth. It was really good stuff. I hope you're doing well, man. Space.com also has this: space impact. Are comets a bigger danger than asteroids? ? This came out June 18. Also saw some reports of fireballs this week. I don't have a link on that. You can Google it, though. I got one more in the 2012 Earth Changes bin. University scientists capture raw footage of UFO showing up at their observatory in Norway. Now, this was from March 18, 2014. Thank you to Sheila Aliens for that. Check out the video they got on that. Interesting stuff. Over to strange and bizarre news. Got some really strange stuff this week. Handcuffed man who had been smoking meth for 3 days shoots at officers using gun hidden in his butt cheeks. I guess it's possible. Reminds me of that story, that guy that shot himself in the back of the head in a police car that one time. Remember that? Florida man, this is really kind of gross. Deputy says Florida man hid his drugs under his stomach fat. 450 pounds, he would hide his drugs under the folds, I guess. That's a new one. Meanwhile, hoarder crushed by debris as floor collapsed. This is, I don't mean to make fun. I'm definitely not making fun. I don't mean to laugh, because hoarding is like a mental disease. This floor collapsed and took this person out. I don't know what to say. People do have that disability, and they need to seek help, I guess. From 2 News, we got this: coroner says body found hanging in closet was there for 5 years. Calls it almost mummified because of the fact that there was low humidity and no sunlight. The body was almost perfectly preserved. Spooky. I'll put a link to it. A couple more. Mother of 3 dies. This is a terrible story. Mother of 3 dies in freak accident after vomiting out of a moving minivan window and hitting her head on a telephone pole. That's definitely a new one. Thoughts to her family. That really sucks. One more in the strange and bizarre bin. Mystery sea monster eats 9-foot great white shark. For all other news, please check my favorite videos. I have favorited lots of videos over the past week. Thank you to everybody who puts out content. Much appreciated. Pull it up and at least scan over the title, see if there's anything you don't know about. Got a few shout outs this week. Shout out to the girl that was scarred by a pit bull attack, asked to leave KFC. Apparently, there's a KFC. Where is this at? I can't scroll down. Jackson, Mississippi. There's a KFC in Jackson, Mississippi where this little girl, who her face is messed up because she was attacked by a pit bull, goes in, and the people in the restaurant tell the employees they want the little girl to leave because they're freaking them out. Excuse me. Not only should the employee be fired, the people who made that request ought to have their ass kicked. Just my opinion. Shout out to this little girl and all the crap she has to put up with. I'll put a link to the story. Just outrageous. Shout out to 73-year-old man shot in the face, but still manages to capture burglary suspects at gunpoint. Right on, that from Gun Saves Lives. Good thing he had a gun, right, Hillary Klingon? And shout out to drone knockdown at Staples Center during LA Kings celebration. I guess LAPD or LA Sheriff's Department, somebody had a drone in the air. The hockey fans took the drone down. So right on, video on that, minute 19. Definitely encouraging. Put a link to it. Check it out. That's all I got for this week, guys. If you like the report, please give me a thumbs up and a +1. Or give it a thumbs down if you think it sucked. It's the worst of YouTube. You never want to see it again. Just please rate. Helps me move around. I appreciate it. Also, follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Google+, for live show alerts, breaking news alerts, new upload alerts, because people tell me they sub me, they don't get my videos. Follow me there. You'll always get them. Another week of madness. My throat's actually sore and my mouth's dry. So I'm out of here. You guys take care. Stay safe. I will see you on the next one.